Okay, welcome over to podcast number 4. And as you can conspicuously see, Tony is conspicuously absent.
Boo, hey.
Tony, what happened? He's a busy man. He's a business owner. Seasons 4 Landscaping. If you have landscaping needs, wants, or desires, they do the very best job for the very best price. Amazing people. Anyway, our whole thing this week was we were going to meet with Josh Patel. A lot of you have met Josh Patel. One of our things, Josh, that we're doing here is I'm interested in people. I think that other people are interested in people, and I'm not talking about movie stars and that kind of thing. I'm trying to find out what makes you tick. And I've had a lot of comments on you.
Really?
A lot of comments on you.
For real?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've had a lot, and people have asked me, what the hell is that guy's deal?
Why does he shave? Is that what they say?
I've never heard that yet.
Oh, okay.
They're like, why does he go so heavy? Those of you that don't know, if you come to the gym, you know, you've seen, or if you haven't come to these times, but those of you that don't know will have seen me call for a 65-95, and Josh will bar up 135 pounds, 155 pounds, 185 pounds, and he'll go to work. And I've never asked him about it much. And so what I thought we'd do is we'd bring Josh on and we'd talk to Josh and we'd ask him what's going on. We'd get to know Josh a little, find out a little bit about his life, what he does, specifically, see if we can promote him in any way, and that's how we'll pay him back for coming down here and wasting his time with us.
No promotion. Anyway.
I'm
a hermit.
He's weird. Like it's really strange to see him load up a bar when I'm calling for 65 pounds. It's really strange to watch him load up 135 pounds and hit every stinking rep that was called for in that workout. And I don't know why he does it. I'm not sure I understand what the whole thing is. So what we thought we'd do, Tony and I, but Tony had to be gone today, we thought we'd bring Josh on and just ask him about himself and have him tell us about it. So I don't know, were you planning on talking about that?
No, I had no idea, honestly, what we were going to go into. So,
well, let's start there. Let's not start there, but let's go there, and then let the conversation take us.
It'll be a short podcast because I don't know. No, I'm kidding.
And then I want to hear about that water thing you were telling me about last week.
Okay.
And then Josh and I go into these philosophical discussions sometimes, and if the podcast goes there, we'll do that. And if it's a 5-minute podcast, we'll call that a podcast. I don't care. All I care about is authenticity. So introduce me to you. You're Josh Patel. You're not a local boy.
No, I grew up in farm country out in Kansas. I think that's a lot of what it comes down to. I think so often when we do things, whether it be exercise, we think we're giving 100%. This is no dig on people that work hard, but we don't know what we're really capable of. And I think a lot of people like this ratio. They want to win 90% of the time, right? It's like, oh yeah, I won this, I won that, trophies, and they collect trophies. And for me, it's almost like I collect failure. I like the breaking point. Right? Because I'll go there and I'll pick up the bar, and if I feel like I can do that and it's going to be comfortable, I don't like to be comfortable, because comfortable is when I'm hanging out with my babies, right? Like that's my comfortable and happy time. I don't have to push myself there. But whether it be psychological, work or physical work, it's like, why not? I mean, you're here, you have a mind, you have a body. Why not see what not only the limitations, but what its capabilities are? And so when I work out, I want to break myself. I want to fail. And if I'm not failing, I move it up a little bit until I do fail. And then it just keeps going from there. And I don't think in fact, I know for a fact, in over 25 years, I've never missed a rep or a goal of anything I've even done. Even when I injured myself, I figured out a way to not leave, because it's kind of like this. I think weightlifting and a lot of things we do are microcosms of other aspects of our life. Like if I'm willing to short a rep, what else am I going to take a shortcut on? What else am I going to take a break on? What else am I going to be like, hey, you know what? Not this time. And then you create this habitual process to what else am I willing to not give my all on? It's dangerous.
I have said this for so long, and nobody agrees with me about that.
Oh, I'm on Team Neil. I'm a believer.
So what's the do you ever have a method? If I program 65 pounds overhead, do you have a ratio that you do, or you just think, you know what, here's a weight that I know I'm going to fail at today, and then you just stay plastic with it and just find a weight, or do you know where you're going to be?
The balance for me is kind of like if it's, you know, and I this is just a hypothetical, but let's say you're doing deadlifts at 135. Well, if that's the number, 135, I know for a fact, you know, I may be able to. It's either 10 or 20 times. So if I think I can do 225 on deadlift about 20 times, and so if I know I can do that, I got to do a weight that I can do 10 times, maybe 2 or 3 times. And so the last 3 or 4 sets, I just cannot. Well, and I hate to tell myself that, right? Because I'm like, no, I can.
Right.
I'm just choosing
Which
not
is the
to.
point
and
of doing
go.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I pick something that I know I can do. Again, when it's 10 times, if I can do it 10 times, no problem, and I'm still breathing good. But my goal is I should be starting to suck a little bit of air after 1 repetition.
Oh, really?
So
right off the bat.
So if I, like my very first lift, I want to be like, that was tough, and that really pushed me, because now I got 99% left to fight and kick and scream and struggle my way through. But I love that feeling when you're done, to where you just, again, you failed, but the success is actually the failure, meaning that I failed, I couldn't get my 10, I couldn't get it, but I did get it actually. It just took me, I had to find a different method. I had to dig a little bit deeper, and sometimes the workout's a 30-minute workout, and I've been at the gym. Poor Lindsay had to wait on me one time. Bless her heart, she stayed there. It was like 2 hours.
Josh, I've seen you do 2-hour workouts.
And
I've seen you walk in the morning at 8-ish and not leave until 10:30-ish. And you were the one over there. You find a little corner of the gym. I know right where to look for you. Yeah,
because whatever the darkest hermit-like place is, right?
And you're just plowing. You're going for it over there. And so I get asked a lot of questions. People will walk up to me and be like, why is he doing that? And is that okay? And I'm like, yeah, man. I mean, go talk to him. Go ask him. Well, is it okay? Physiologically, who the hell am I to say? People ask all the time, what does that 65-95 mean? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. I put it out there as sort of a goal to achieve, but it's not specific to you. It cannot be. It wouldn't be specific to you one day to the next. And so when I see someone like Josh walk in and start doing their own thing, take the bones of a workout and make it theirs, my heart sings. I love it. It means you're doing it right, because I cannot program for every soul that walks in that gym. They got to program for them. We were just talking about that. We were just talking about people that walk in and kind of use the gym as a microcosm of life, the workout as a microcosm of life. And I like hearing your thoughts on that. Like, is it a pain thing for you? Like, are you into the pain? Do you like the pain? No,
I'm not a masochist. Like when I do it, you know, no, I don't like the pain. It's not like, you know, I don't think anybody really, I don't know, there's some creepers out there, but I don't think anybody really wants to say, hey, I want to suffer, right? But I know that the suffering in that, right, in the suck of life, in the hardship of life, lies the true strength, the true character building. So if I said, hey, how did you feel when you crossed the finish line? Everybody kind of gives the same answer, you know, hey, I felt awesome, you know, I felt great, I felt accomplished. Stop. What else? Like, okay, what else? But if I say, what was one of the hardest, most trying experiences of your life when you really, really struggled and you just failed miserably? They can tell me intimate details, times, places, emotions, things that they learned, how they grew.
Smells, what colors they were looking at, everything.
Everything, because it's so vividly, it's so ingrained, it's so, you know, impressed in their mind and their memory. And that's what we're ultimately here for, right? Life is a learning, a growing classroom type experience. And I think so many people try to skip the courses and miss out on the subjects. But if you can just dig in and open your mind and open yourself to what is it that, whether it be the world, an expert like Neil, or someone like, you know who inspires me the most at the gym?
Say.
A lot of people think, like some of the big strong dudes, because there's some really powerful guys in there, and I'm like, man, they can move some serious weight. It doesn't really impress me all that much. But some of these gals will be in there, and they will go through the workout, and I'm a quarter of the way done, sucking air, struggling, trying to get my lungs to like remember how to function properly. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go through the entire thing a second time.
Again.
And then I'm 3/4 of the way through, and I see the first bead of sweat happen. I'm drenched. I've lost 5 pounds, and then the next bead of sweat happens, and they're busting through that whole workout again for the third time, and sometimes doing heavier weights. And I mean, I've done kickboxing and wrestling and competitive sports, and I kid you not, some of the gals at your gym are the most in shape. Just incredible conditioning.
Yeah.
Incredible conditioning. Like, I mean, again, I've seen amazing athletes, and I think they crush them.
Right. Like I would put, listen, I don't even like to say that just because I hate the very thought of competition in fitness. I want people to suck the essence of life, just like I've never heard it said better. Suck the essence of life. The essence of life isn't in the numbness. The essence of life is in the pain. And I'm sorry, but it is. You can't know joy. I've always thought you can't know joy unless you know pain. In fact, I believe they're on kind of this continuum.
Well, they're equally important. If you don't have one, the other doesn't exist without the other.
I think that they are codependent on each other. I think that you can only experience as much joy in the world as you can experience pain. And so that behooves everybody to try to become better and better at experiencing pain, because the more that you can, I know how sick this sounds, the more pain you can experience and that you can tolerate, that opens the doors to more joy. It's weird, but it works that way. Those that are walking around living a numb, painless life, I don't have any pain ever, I'm trying to avoid pain at all costs, I think they limit their ability to gain joy.
I agree.
I think you said that. Am I missing it?
No, I agree with you. I think it's, to sum it up in a paragraph, I think that life, that one of the true purposes of life is to learn how to endure the hardships, and rather than be victimized by them, triumph over them and champion your hardships, champion your trials and your struggles. And if you can truly do that, life kind of changes, right? Because if now it's, during that race, if you're just thinking about how miserable you are, no, you're thinking about how you've grown, what you've accomplished, what you had to sacrifice to get to where you are. There's a lot of joy that comes in this suck of life. I don't know any other way to explain it, but I mean, that's just what I call it for me. I've gone through some pretty hard things and grew up in a pretty tough home, and when I think it through the hardships, I wouldn't change a thing. I learned a lot of the man I wanted to be, like the kind of husband I wanted to be, the kind of dad I wanted to be, by and I think the Lord knew that for me in my life. But for my gal, for my kiddos, I'm a much better husband. I'm a much better father, because I saw what it was like not to be a good one. Does that make sense?
Oh.
And I think what happens is when you embrace those hardships and those struggles, whatever aspect, again, mental or physical, it just doesn't matter, because life is different. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you find joy in the hardship. Where other people are broken by it, you're inspired by it.
Yes.
Where other people are pulled back and depressed by it, you're motivated,
right,
and you're eager to learn. And so each new trial, rather than be a stumbling block, is a new opportunity for growth and joy and experience.
That is very well said, and I'm tempted to end the podcast right there, because that's a point to chew on, man. That is a point to chew on. But before we go, I have to ask you a practical side of training. You learned training issues, so to understand what it's like to watch Josh work out, understand that he'll start sweating, and then he'll sweat kind of to there like the rest of us do, and a half hour later his sweat ring will be to here, half hour later it'll go past his belly button. And I think every single time you do that workout, you sell it, you go hard. And then you started running into some issues with some sickness, some illness recently. Would you tell us about that? And
you're talking about the water thing?
Yeah, the water thing.
Okay, so I've always been told, and it's kind of interesting. I think it kind of goes back into the philosophical part about what we're talking is with life. We believe we're working hard. We believe we're pushing ourselves. We believe we're giving it our best. But are we really? Does that make sense? We want to say, yeah, this is good. I'm really, really doing it. But are you capable of more? And I think that's where the gray area is, and I think for everyone the answer is always yes. So anyway, going back to the water side of it, I've been told by my gal, just friends in general, like, hey, you need to drink a lot more water because you work really hard, you sweat, blah blah blah.
Well, they tell you that anyway. They're always like, you first place to start in fitness is drinking water. I know a kid right now that walks around with a gallon a day, and he swears by it.
Yeah, and so for me, in my head, right? Again, this is my own truth. In my head, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm drinking water.
Yeah.
But what I wasn't doing is I wasn't measuring it. So by doing that, like, one of the reasons I like your program so much is the numbers allow me to measure, right?
Yeah.
You say, hey, Josh, do this 10 times.
Yeah.
And so I don't have to think about that aspect. All I have to think about, okay, if I can do that 10 times, at what point, at some point in that workout, I better fail.
Okay.
Because if I don't fail at some point in that workout, I'm not pushing myself hard enough. I'm doing the status quo.
Which is good for Josh, but might not suit you.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
No, I love that you do. I'm just interjecting a little truth here. Like, just because this works for me or because it works for Josh or anybody in the world, that's not a prescription. That's not necessarily something that everybody should do. We're not asking you to sell it every single time. This is good for you. You've made incredible changes. But let's go back. You're
well,
flying
really,
along.
every workout is, like you were saying at the beginning, though, just a little caveat is very personal.
Yeah.
Right? You got to find that thing that motivates you. Your program is the most complete program I've ever done in my life. I've done a million different things, and I wasn't inspired by it. And I'm like, I didn't know until I came to your program that I can be inspired by a workout. Like, it's so balanced, it's so well done, it's so measured, it's so calculated that one lift stretches out the previous exercise but prepares you for new muscle groups. And I feel healthier, I live healthier, and I've never had, again, I've done kickboxing, and I trained with a 3-time world champion coach who pushed me to the limits, and wrestling, and all these different programs. Your program's the only one that's broken through that, and over 25 years of exercising. It is the first program in my entire life to where I'm excited. I get a little bit of butterflies, right? Because I'm like, oh man, this is gonna hurt. But it's the first program in my life to where, and I know other people feel this way because they've said it, but I'll look it up Monday night, Sunday night, and I'm like, man, what are we doing Monday? What are we doing? And I read it, and a lot of times, I've never done something like this, but I'm eager to get in there and see what it does to me.
Cool.
So anyway, props to you.
That's high praise. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Going back to the water, so in my head, I'm drinking water, but because I wasn't measuring it, I really didn't know if I was drinking enough. So I would get sick maybe once a month, or sometimes about every month and a half I get sick for maybe a couple of days. And what I was finding is I keep pushing and I feel really dehydrated about half an hour, 45 minutes into the workout. And I'd still be drinking water, but I wasn't getting electrolytes, not enough. And so I just drink water, get home, and then I drink a Gatorade, and I hate the sugar, but it would get rid of the muscle cramps, right?
Okay.
But I'd still get sick every once in a while. So I didn't understand it. So finally I'm just like, and again, you get into these cycles where you think you're doing something, but until you break out of that, and this is kind of what your program can do for people too, it did for me, is you gotta seek something new, right? Because so often we're like, I go to the gym, I do this, it looks like this, it feels like this, but I don't get results.
Right.
And so I went to a nutritionist, someone who knows a lot more than me, and I just asked. And I told him how much water I'm drinking on average. We kind of looked at it, and I'm drinking about a third the amount of water I'm supposed to be drinking.
Is that right?
And he was like, I'm surprised you haven't had some organ problems, because I'll lose 4 or 5 pounds minimum when I work out. And
like, it's hard for you to wrap your mind around that, but he really does.
Yeah,
like,
it's gross.
It's like he turned on the rain.
We don't need visuals. We can just move on. Anyway, but the bottom line is, he said basically you're an idiot because you're not drinking anywhere near enough water. You need to step it up. Drink water. Here's a bottle with just numbers on it, and I'm very goal oriented, number oriented. And so we just do this bottle. So I started doing it, and I kid you not, it was rejuvenating. And I'm not quite doing what I'm supposed to be doing exactly on water, because it's just, again, you got to find that thing that motivates you. But I'm drinking, actually no, because when he gave me the number, I actually did what I do with the weights. I put more than he told me to. So I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I have more energy. I feel better. I've done some of the workout we did Monday was brutal, and my energy levels were amazing. I felt like my legs were literally walking faster than my body. I felt amazing, and it was just because I stopped thinking I knew what I was doing best for myself, and and I just looked at the truth of this situation, regardless of my own opinion, and said, what are the facts, not what do I think I'm doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I'm gonna leave it right frickin' there, because that is more than I expected to chew on today. Like, I'm gonna break it off. That's enough. That's enough. Josh Patel,
Cool,
thank
bro.
you so much. I really can't promote you. There's nothing you on.
No,
What
we're
do
good.
you do? Where are you at? Where can people look you up and find your excellent stuff?
So anyway, I have a bunch of nerdy websites that do articles and stuff. So
Tell
there's nothing
one
you
of
can
them.
really
Just
do.
say one of them.
So if anybody needs office space, I got a commercial building over in North Salt Lake, about 80,000 square foot that we're remodeling. And anyway, on the outside, it's kind of a big turd. It's kind of ugly. But on the inside, it's like a Taj Mahal. We've completely gutted and renovated the thing, and I'll finish the outside this year, but it's pretty cool.
I appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you so much.
Cool, bro.